Listen, I want to ask you something straightforward. When was the last time you actually sat down and looked closely at your cholesterol numbers? Not just hearing a general comment during an appointment and moving on, but really understanding what those numbers could mean for your heart, your arteries, and the years ahead. Because there is something many people over 45 don't fully realize. LDL cholesterol, often called the bad kind, doesn't usually create obvious signals. You don't feel a sudden warning. There's no clear moment where you think something is wrong. Instead, it can build up quietly over time, gradually affecting your arteries long before anything appears on a scan. And what makes it even more challenging is that you can feel completely fine. Your energy feels normal, nothing seems alarming, and your routine checkups don't raise major concerns, except for that one number that slowly increases year after year. Now imagine this. 8 weeks from today, you go back for a blood test. Your doctor reviews your results and says, "What have you been doing? Your LDL has dropped by 20, maybe even 30 points without medication." This is not unrealistic. With consistent, well-directed lifestyle changes, many people can see meaningful improvements like this. Today, I'm going to walk you through 9 evidence-based strategies that can help you move in that direction. And I recommend staying until the second half of this video because I'll also talk about 2 widely used supplements that are often seen as natural support options. I'll explain important considerations around them and what you can focus on instead. Let's begin with strategy number 1. This is the foundation, and it influences how everything else works. Many people try to lower LDL by simply reducing fat in their diet. The assumption is straightforward. Less fat leads to lower cholesterol. But the full picture is a bit more nuanced. Not all fats affect your body the same way. Saturated fats, found in foods like butter, coconut oil, full-fat dairy, and fatty cuts of red meat, can influence how your body processes LDL. On the other hand, polyunsaturated fats, which you find in foods like salmon, walnuts, and flax seeds, tend to support a more balanced cholesterol profile. There is also strong research showing that replacing saturated fats specifically with polyunsaturated fats, not with refined carbohydrates, is associated with more noticeable improvements in LDL levels. Monounsaturated fats, such as those found in olive oil, avocados, and almonds, play an important role as well. They help support overall balance by working on both LDL and HDL. So what does this look like in practice? You can start by using extra virgin olive oil as your main fat for cooking and meals. Add a daily handful of walnuts, around 30 grams. Include fatty fish like salmon 2 to 3 times per week. Options like sardines or mackerel work just as well. And consider adding avocado regularly. The key idea here is not removing fat, but improving the type of fat you use. That shift makes a real difference. When this approach is followed consistently for several weeks, many people begin to notice measurable changes in their cholesterol panel. Now let's move to strategy 2, and this one often surprises people. A few years ago, I worked with someone who had already made strong improvements to his diet, but his LDL levels weren't changing much. When we reviewed his daily habits, one detail stood out: his morning coffee routine. He was drinking French press coffee every day. What many people don't realize is that certain coffee preparation methods contain natural compounds that can influence how the body handles cholesterol. Research comparing filtered and unfiltered coffee has shown that unfiltered methods, like French press, Turkish coffee, or boiled coffee, can be associated with higher LDL levels compared to paper-filtered coffee. The adjustment here is very simple. Using a paper filter helps remove these compounds before they reach your cup. Switching to drip coffee or pour-over methods with a paper filter can make a measurable difference over time without changing anything else in your routine. If unfiltered coffee is something you really enjoy, you don't necessarily need to eliminate it completely, but reducing how often you drink it can be helpful. Sometimes it's these small, consistent adjustments that create meaningful results. Now, strategy 3, and this is one of the most powerful mechanisms: soluble fiber. Your digestive system plays a much bigger role in cholesterol regulation than most people expect. One of the key processes involved is how your body recycles bile acids. Your liver produces bile acids from cholesterol, which help digest fats. Normally, most of these bile acids are reabsorbed and reused. Soluble fiber changes this process. When you consume it, it forms a gel-like substance in your digestive tract that can bind to bile acids and help remove them from the body. As a result, your body uses more cholesterol to produce new bile acids, which can support lower LDL levels over time. There is strong evidence behind this mechanism, and certain types of soluble fiber, like beta-glucan found in oats, have been widely studied. A practical daily target is around 7 to 10 grams of soluble fiber. You can start your day with oats, add chia seeds, include beans or lentils in your meals, and regularly eat fruits like apples, pears, or citrus. If reaching that amount through food is difficult, some people also consider adding psyllium husk, which has been well studied. Have you ever tried adding psyllium husk to your routine? You can share yes or no in the comments. It's interesting to see how many people have already explored this. Now let's move to strategy 4, plant-based protein. Research shows that replacing part of your animal protein, especially red meat, with plant protein sources like legumes, nuts, and seeds can support improvements in LDL levels. This works partly because of reduced saturated fat and increased fiber, but there may also be direct effects on how your body processes cholesterol. You don't need to make extreme changes. Even small shifts, like choosing lentils instead of red meat a few times per week, can add up over time. Strategy 5, physical activity and body weight. If you are carrying excess weight, even a modest reduction, around 5 to 10% of your body weight, can support meaningful improvements in your lipid profile. Physical activity itself also plays a role. Regular aerobic movement like walking, cycling, or swimming supports overall cardiovascular health, while strength training helps improve metabolic function. A general target is about 150 minutes of moderate activity per week, along with 2 sessions of resistance training. If you're just starting, even 20-30 minutes of walking per day combined with basic strength exercises can be a strong foundation. Strategy 6, gut health and fermented foods. Your gut microbiome is involved in many processes, including those related to cholesterol metabolism. Certain beneficial bacteria interact with bile acids in ways that may support a healthier balance, including fermented foods like kefir, yogurt, kimchi, sauerkraut, or miso can help support a more diverse gut environment over time. Think of this as a long-term investment rather than a quick fix. Strategy 7, eggs. Eggs have been debated for years. While they do contain dietary cholesterol, your body often adjusts its own production in response. For many healthy individuals, moderate egg consumption, such as 1 egg per day, is generally well tolerated. What often matters more is what accompanies the eggs, things like processed meats or added saturated fats. If you have specific health conditions, it's always best to discuss your individual situation with a healthcare professional. Now, before we continue, there's an important point to understand. For some people, certain widely used supplements may not work the way they expect. That's why it's helpful to stay informed and make decisions carefully. We'll cover that in the next part. Because in the end, what makes the biggest difference is not a single change, but how multiple strategies come together. When you improve fat quality, increase fiber, include plant proteins, stay active, and build consistent habits, you create an environment where your body can function more efficiently. And this is where you start to see real, measurable changes. Think of it as a system, not a single solution. Consistency matters more than perfection. Small, steady changes over time are what lead to meaningful results. If this breakdown was helpful, you can support the video so more people can find clear and practical information on this topic. And if you'd like a step-by-step approach to building meals around these principles, I've explained that in another video. You'll find the link in the description. We'll continue in the next part.